Want to save money on Star Force? Of course you would, why wouldn't you? Heck, this was a trick I wish someone told me long ago before I made my items. This is something I recently found out about. It's not new, but it's news to me. I had no idea this existed or how it works until relatively recently. This thing that I'm talking about is called transfer hammer. Some of you, like me, have probably never heard about it. Some of you might have heard about it and just never used it, and some of you know about it like the back of your hand. In any case, I'll break down how I use the transfer hammer to make my slime ring for a fraction of the cost. Now normally, how do we Star Force? Let's say we want to Star Force a superior Gollux ring. How will we do it? We scroll and cube the item and then just store it, right? If it booms, we just buy another superior ring and just Star Force it again and again until it hits the star that we want. But what if I told you there was a cheaper way to do things? Each boom of the superior Gollux ring right now costs around 1 bill in the market, and going to 21 star takes an average of 5 booms off event. If we want to save that cost, we can use something called the transfer hammer. Now, what is the transfer hammer, you might ask? Transfer hammer takes a lower level item and a higher level item that you have and then fuses it to make a brand new item. Both of the items used to fuse will be destroyed in the process, and only the resulting item will remain in your inventory. There are 3 requirements for the transfer hammer. 1. The lower level item must have 1 star or more for the transfer hammer to work. 2. The level difference between the 2 items must be between +1 to +10. But if the item is lower than level 99, the level difference can be +1 to +20. But you probably won't use it for lower level items unless you're in reboot or something. I know rebooters do love to use the transfer hammer. 3. The hammer can only be used on items of the same type. So ring to ring, pendant to pendant, overalls to top or bottom, and so on. People usually scroll the higher level item first before transfer hammering, because otherwise the transfer hammer will fill the remaining slots with 100% trace scrolls. But you can always arc-anal the items to save the stars and just, wipe the scrolls. One caveat is for priming, because protection scrolls do not protect past 12 stars. The transfer hammer shows the resulting item, so make sure to double check it over before you actually do the act and transfer the items. This resulting item will have 1 less star from the lower level item, so if the lower level item is 16 star, the resulting item will have 15 star. The flame of the higher level item will be kept. Main and bonus potential will be taken from the lower level item, but only up to epic tier. So unique tier and legendary tier will be reduced to epic tier. Souls will be transferred if you're doing a weapon. Now, what are the limitations? If this transfer hammer is so good, why doesn't everyone do it, and why aren't equips dirt cheap? Well, truth is, there are some limitations. You already know about the 10 level difference one, meaning that items cannot be greater than 10 levels apart, otherwise transfer hammer does not work. So going from Absolab to Arcane Umbra is a no-no, unfortunately. But here are a few more limitations. 1. Equipment with fixed potentials cannot be used in a transfer hammer situation, so things like a Mugong or Sogong glove from Dojo. 2. Temporary equipment, things that are temporary and expire. 3. Cash equipment. 4. Superior equipment, basically the Tyrant sets. 5. The equipments that use miraculous equipped scrolls. 6. Equipment that cannot be upgraded with scrolls. 7. Equipment with inherent skills, so things such as the Reaper pendant that has an inherent skill, the Breath of Divinity, and so on. 8. Equipment that disappears when logging out, so there are certain equipment that you get through events that disappear when you log out. 9. Equipment that cannot be given potentials. 10. Lapis and Lazuli, so zeros cannot use it essentially, but I don't think zeros need to use it. Now, here is my example of making a slime ring. Recently, I made a slime ring to 22 star. The slime ring is a level 160 item and was just recently released, so it was super expensive in the auction house per ring. Depending on when you bought one, it was anywhere from 3 to 12 bill. So rather than spending 3 to 12 bill per boom, I decided to use the transfer hammer. I took a Kanna's treasure to 21 star, transferred it over to a superior Gollux, which became 20 star, tapped that superior Gollux to 21 star, then transferred it over to a slime ring and tapped that twice to 22 star, because when it gets transferred over again, it loses 1 star, so it goes from 21 to 20 and you have to get it back to 21. Kanna's treasure rings are readily available. If you just do Princess No, you'll probably get it once a week if you have decent drop rate. So booming those, and I did boom a lot going to 20 star, was a lot cheaper than booming Superior Gollux rings and slime rings. Sure, I lost a star each time I transfer, but it was still worth the money because of how expensive the other 2 rings were compared to a quote-unquote free Kanna's treasure that you get from Princess No. And I think overall going to 20 star probably boomed anywhere from 10 to 12 Kanna's treasure rings. So if they were Superior Gollux, it'll be 10 to 12 bill, and if it were slime rings, it'll be 10 to 12 times 3 or 12 bill, depending on how much it was. So it's a crazy amount of money. You might be wondering why did I stop at 21 and not go for 22 on anything besides a slime ring. Well, 22 is super hard. It's not free at all. Getting 22 star on 1 item is already hard enough as it is. Getting 22 star on 3 items will make you want to kill yourself. Statistically speaking, going 22 star takes double the amounts than going to 21 star, double the booms, and double the mesos. And you only get 10% chance more to go 22 star from a 21 star compared to a 20 star. I just didn't have that patience and it didn't make sense for me. You can do what you like, but I personally would not recommend getting it to 22 star. You also never want to stop at below 16 star or the 21 star mark, because once you lose a star from the transfer hammer, you don't want to be back at the 10 to 15 hell or the 15 to 20 star hell. It's just not fun. It's not going to be a fun experience for you at all. So you want to make sure that after the transfer, you are at 15 star or 20 star minimum, so it doesn't drop stars on the Star Force fails. I recommend going for 21 star if you're applying to 22. And if you're applying to 17, I think you can go for 16 star and that will work fine. So to summarize the important points, you want to make sure that 1, you scroll the item that you're transferring to, aka the higher level item, before you begin the transfer. This is especially true if it is primed. If it is something like X scrolls where you can actually freely scroll after, then that's fine. I did an ICOG on my Guardian Angel slime ring just because the event shop had a lot, so I did an ICOG with Eno and just kept Enoing until I get the first slot to 4 attack or more, and luckily I did get 6 attacks, so I did ICOG and then I transferred after. But for those of you who are doing premium accessory scrolls, you guys can scroll before or after. Those of you who are doing primes, you have to scroll before you transfer, otherwise the Star Force will prevent you. And again, you don't want to stop at any other star besides 16 or 21, because when you transfer, you go back to 15 or 20 respectively, and those 2 are the perfect positions to be in. Hope this video helped you guys out. Like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. If you are interested in supporting the channel, hit that join button to join my membership, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.